Okay, hello, good morning. Yes, nice to start off with a new week. Last week we were working on, I don't quite remember what we were working on. Did we fix the last stuff related to adding a backlog item, I think? So we were supposed to start on this new page, I believe. Also did a stream, like more Codesandbox related stream, where Evis, one of the founders of Codesandbox, joined me, and we played around with Recoil.js. Yeah, just playing around with TypeScript and stuff. It's I think it's a nice way to do things, like not do all this preparation, but rather just have some idea, and it doesn't matter. Like, we're so interested in this stuff, programming and looking into new tools and stuff, that it doesn't matter where it ends up, like the stream. There's always something to talk about. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Hope to do that again. But we have to get on with our application. So what we're going to do now is basically introduce a new screen, I think. And then we need to create this effect that goes and grabs whatever we have planned the current week. And as we talked about, now we're going to grab each day individually, because that's just more straightforward in code. And it's also more straightforward in terms of choosing what day of the week do you want to be the first day of the week. So we don't do any like crazy calculations that nobody understands. And you could like argue that it's inefficient to go and grab each day individually, but it's like, it's Firebase, it's WebSockets. So for the user experience, I don't think it matters. And also having that flexibility, I think it might open up for more stuff later. That's just easier to do when we grab weeks by days. Yes. Cool. Let's see, where do we start? I guess we need a new component for this. So we need like edit current week. Let's just copy something. I'm really lazy at. Let's see. Oh, is this a default export? Anyways. Export const edit current week. And it's a React component. Yes, and we want to use the app state. But let's just return something silly now. I guess we can use this, what do we call it? Screen container? Yeah, let's return a screen container. Screen container. Oh, we already had it, sorry. Edit current week. So now we have that one. And I guess in our app, we want to introduce this new thing. Edit current week. And then we have to check if we are actually on that state. So let's have a look at our state where we currently have initializing home, add backlog item. Oh, we have edit current week. Nice. Else if state matches edit. Oh, come on. Edit current week. We are going to do page equals edit current week. Yes, cool. And then we have to make sure on the home screen when we actually click that thing, yes, I guess we can do it when we click the whole cell. Do we have like a, yeah, actions, open screen? Yeah, let's see. It needs to do more now. Did we put that into its own state, like these different pages? We could do that. So we have like, yeah, we can do like key of state. Well, initializing is not a page. So I think we need to be, well, I guess we can export type. Did we call it screen? Screen. And this can be, I guess it can be like an enum where we have home equals home. And we have to do this double because, well, we don't have to. But if we don't set, like we could do this, but then home would be like an index. It would be like 0. And that's like, I don't like that in terms of debugging and stuff. So we are going to do it like this. And it doesn't really matter. Like you could argue that it takes more memory, blah, 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 but I don't care. That's like, that's the thing. Like writing readable code, like I made this PR for style components to improve the typing experience, like make it faster. And it increased the memory consumption quite a bit on the typing. But the experience was way faster. And that's the thing, like I think we sometimes get too obsessed by it needs to run as efficiently as possible. Because if you wanted to do that, you couldn't really build anything. Like the most efficient thing is to not create an app. Then the computer is super happy if it doesn't have to run it at all. And it's the same for our tools. Like if we didn't have our build processes and transpilers and all this stuff, like the computer would be super happy about that. But it's not the computer we're trying to please here. We're trying to please first and foremost our users, but also like as developers, we need to have like a good experience writing code. So yeah, I can throw a lot of memory and CPU on that. Not for the users, of course, in terms if it becomes a problem, but especially for the development flow. No problems with that at all. Anyways, where were we? This is the screen. Yes, so we can rather say screen home. Oh, home. Screen add backlog item. Screen. What's this? Plan next week. And then screen. Oh, this is kind of annoying. Edit current week. Because now we have, yeah, it doesn't match. Oh, fuck it. Let's not do this. Damn it. Let's create a union instead. Export type screen. Because I don't want to, that's like a bad experience to go through that. And well, this isn't right either. Well, so annoying. Like I don't want some of the states to be enums and some other states to be like just strings. But we can't really share these ones, which is oh, this is super annoying. Oh, let's forget about this. Add backlog item. Open screen. I don't care. I don't care. Edit. Backlog item. I don't think there was any good way to do that. So what's this complaining about? Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Oh, is it just because... Was this already an error? No. Oh, edit current week. Oh, that's good. It actually throws an error there if I don't have a valid. So that's okay. Then I think this is the best solution. I just wanted it to be type safe without repetition, but I think we have to do some repetition there. Anyways, so we want to go to edit current week. So when we click this now, whoop, edit current week, nice. What should we do now? So this screen, oh, I actually have my phone here. Let's see, where is it? Week planner. Yes, current week. So where is it? So the current week looks something like this. So it's like a list of all the backlog items we have. And then we show the current week underneath for each profile that is member of the family. So let's build that. And I guess we don't really want this stuff to be centered. And to handle that, oh, save that. And to handle that, I guess we need another container here, which has 100% height, I guess. Let's see, import styled from CSS. Or we can call it, yeah, and that's also a thing. Like now, the screen container, didn't we set that to be like the, yes, height. And this is the thing about mobile. You don't really want to have scroll containers. You want to use the body to do the scrolling. Like that's my experience at least. You always get this shitty behavior when you set scrolling on like an element. So we don't want this height 100. We rather want, let's see, let's import container here instead. Because how does this look? Can I? Ooh. Yeah, it doesn't have that. Yeah, it only has a max width. So this is actually what we want. Yeah, edit current. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So what we need to do is go and grab all the backlog items from our state, and we need to iterate through them. So let's do that. State. Oh, this is so annoying. I think again this is this version of VS Code, why it doesn't understand the dotting there. So we have our backlog of backlog items. Do we have it as a list or? I don't remember. Backlog items. No, we have it as an object. So what we could do, instead of like what we're doing with these backlog items is that this is kind of like where we reference all our backlog items, but we want them to be an array for display purposes. So for example, in plan next week, we want to have what should we call it? Current. What should we call it? Because now we have backlog. What should we call it? So we have our backlog with those items, but then we kind of want to, let's just call it backlog list. And this is going to be a list of backlog items. And I guess this should be available on when we plan the next week and when we plan the current week. Yes. Yes. Well, I guess that doesn't matter. We can have the list when we, as a base state, so it's always available. It doesn't matter. Yes, so let's create that backlog list. So we're going to create a derived out of this. Oh, did it grab it automatically? And this derived has some state, which is the state we have there. And then we want to basically return, I guess we don't have, did we include the UID? Yeah, ID on the, good. So we can basically say object.values state.backlog. And this gives us the, all the values. So at least we should have them now. Backlog list, then we map over that. Let's see, let's just do like a div here to begin with. Backlog item. Oh, this is so annoying that I can't dot there. So let's have a description. So the point is, typically when we have a bunch of data that we get from the server, we want to determine how to display it. Like one thing is displaying it as a list, like an array, but also we want like a certain order. So in this case, we might want to have the newest backlog items at the top, but we want the ones that are related to a date, we want at the bottom. So that you have like your weekly stuff at the top, and then you kind of have your date reminders at the bottom. So you typically want this quirky sorting, and you could like do that on the server. Well, I guess with Firebase it's tricky, but no matter, you could do it on the server. But then you have the issue of what if some data updates? You get like a single new item. You have to do that sorting, and you have to know where to put that item. So you kind of need that sorting in the client anyways. So yeah. It's not a function. What did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? It's not a function. What? What is it then? This is weird. It's a function. Oh, there's something wrong here now. God damn it. Oh, I think there's something. Oh. This is interesting though. Because the way this works in Overmind is that it uses a symbol to identify these derived functions. And if for some reason one of these packages, so for example, typically what happens, like I really hate this splitting of packages like this with versioning, and oh, it's so difficult to maintain and manage. The point is, React DOM might use a different version of Overmind. Like internally, it references a different version. Overmind React. And then you have Overmind here by itself. So when it tries to, but this should work. This should work. Let me try to add the latest packages. Oh, but no, sorry. We have the state transitions. Oh, we have to use the next. This really sucks. I think we actually have to dive into some debugging here. Like the way Codesandbox evaluates these packages is that it actually keeps a version of like multiple versions. So if one package wants one version of a certain thing, it allows it to actually point to that version. And then if some other package wants a different version, it installs that next to it and allows it to point to that version, which you can argue is really good, so that all the packages actually works with their the correct version. instead of having this, oh, one package doesn't support this version, which this other package needs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm not sure how we're going to approach this. I think we have to export this because I need to dive into... Oh, this is so annoying. But why does this happen? Oh, maybe it's because... Oh, wait. Is it because it's inside a state machine? Oh, maybe that's a bug. That might actually be a bug. How should we approach this? Should we run a project locally and test it there? Yes, we can do that. We can run the... let's see. Oh, I'm working on SSL certificates, like self-signed certificates for Codesandbox. It's such a mess. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Already up to date, and we can actually run the website here. I think it's npm run dev. I'm using the old website as like a reference project when I need to test stuff. So if we look into the state here, we have a state machine here. Currently this is, it's wrong how it's set up. So we rather want to have something like this. And then, oh, mode, oh. Okay, let's just have two of them. Like that. And then we'll add on anything authenticated foo, it's a string. Then we do derive. Okay, so we have something set up here. So let's see what happens now. Localhost, I think it's 4000 this thing is running on. Ah, of course. We're running some at Codesandbox. I'm actually really looking forward to show this off because we are like Codesandbox has this client project which is standalone and open source, so everyone can contribute to it. But we also have like a server and a bunch of other parts of our architecture which we run in a Docker container. But that environment is not very developer friendly. So I'm working like on a tool that makes working with the Docker environment super approachable. And that's why I'm stuck in SSL certificates, wildcard issues, because we want to run codesandbox.test locally, and it works just fine, but in Chrome it complains about wildcards, and we're completely dependent on wildcards because every single sandbox is a wildcard. So you get like into issues with that, super annoying. Yes, let's see now. If I try to restart, oops, that was not npm run dev. Let's see. Oh, I seem to be logging out a bunch of stuff here. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Where is all of this coming from? Oh, it might be I need just to build. Yeah, maybe I should do that first. Let's see. No modules over mine. Just have to build a thing. And I'll also build proxy state tree. Just to be sure, Come on. Oh, god damn it. have to build all of them, I think. Oh, this is probably going to take some time. But yeah, maybe we can take a quick look at the code that's running there. Because the thing is, we have this state machine now. And the thing about the state machine is that it's actually a class instance. And then one of the things that changed using this new derived function is that it should be possible to add derived directly to the class instances. But I think maybe there was something I didn't take into account when I implemented that. So that would be nice to fix that, because then we fix using derived on any class instance. And it's kind of interesting, like classes as like containers for state is really, really valuable. I implemented this thing in Codesandbox because we have this concept of a current sandbox, which might be null because, well, we haven't loaded a sandbox yet. And we have a ton of functions related to getting information from a sandbox. And we also have a ton of logic for grabbing certain data, setting certain data. It's not like just changing out the value. So I created this editor sandbox concept, which is a class, and it's never null. It's always instantiated, but it by default, it uses like an empty sandbox underneath. So any state you point to, any method you run, it will always run, which means that there's no checking, like null checking in the code. It will always just work. And then we have all our methods kind of collected with the editor sandbox, which means that it, for fuck's sake, it becomes exploratory. So for new developers, they can just point to editor sandbox and they know everything they can do with it. Over my DevTools client, what's it complaining about? Oh, I hate this stuff. Let's just see if it runs now, because we were going to do something else. What is it complaining about? Why doesn't it say anything? Anyways. Okay, cool. Anyways, let's just move on with our thing. And I think it's running this silly thing here. Does it? No. What does it do? What does it do? Yeah, because I'm just testing stuff here. So it's probably, is it on initialize? What is actually trying to change this? Login. Where's that login? In actions? But there's no login here. Is it old? Let's see. Oh, I'm in the wrong project. Here we go. Okay, so we have like transition to, well, we don't care about that. What we care about is console.log state. What did I call it? Mode dot. Well, I guess if mode matches unauthenticated. Well, that shouldn't matter. We should have the state there no matter, because we put it on both of them. Oh, sorry, only on one of them. Let's put it on both of them. Let's see. Okay, now let's log out state mode foo. And then we actually need to implement. Okay, we actually have foo there. Yes, you see here, it becomes a function. Now we have to figure out why does it become a plain function. And I have, let's see. When we go through Okay, this is going to go over time. I hope you find this interesting, because what we're going to do, we're going to dive into how Overmind actually goes through the state when it instantiates. Create state, wasn't it state something? Proxy configuration, create proxy state tree. Yes, so here we have the thing. This is what happens. So on function, this is basically whenever our proxifier hits a function, it will call this callback, give us the state tree, the path to whatever we're pointing to, and then the actual function. And then it checks if this function is a derived. Then it returns the function with a value, calling that function. Yes. We're returning function. So what I think happens here is that instead of seeing that it's a derived and then grabbing its value, it just returns the function, which is not what we want. So I don't think it actually identifies it as a derived, and that might be related to how we get state, process state. That's the thing. So yeah, I think it's here. So if it's a plain object, which means it's a branch, we just process it. If not, we just add the thing. So what we do is that we add that class instance. We add that class instance, and well, I guess to make this simpler, we will just go ahead and we're going to remove all this stuff. Then we'll see what it processes. Let's see. Console.log original descriptor. Why aren't we seeing anything there? Oh yeah, I have to build it every time. Okay, let's instead of doing that thing, we're going to, let's see if we can just do it inside here. Process state, just so I don't have to build it every time. And I don't know if this, oh nice, yes, it refreshes. Okay, here we have our state machine. So we have state machine foo. Yeah, and it says is derived constructor. Oh, maybe that's the thing. It never turns it into a derived. Maybe. Okay, so we have that. So now we can, where was this? Process state, final references. Process state. Where do we have this? Here we go. No, where did it go? The thing where we pass in the function. Oh, I lost it. This is when we create the proxy state tree, new proxy state tree. Here we are. Okay, so here we can look at what it tries to point to. Tree path func. Oh, of course, and I'm still in the wrong file. We want to do this. I think this was inside. Here we go. Let's see. That's interesting. It doesn't even call it. Maybe this is way into proxy state tree. Let's dive into proxy state tree. So we have our proxifier, and it's trying to grab a value. Because I think what happens is that we're not creating a proxy around our state instance. So when we try to get something on the if value is array is plain, no, is class create object proxy. Let's see if it creates a class here. Value. Yes, state machine. So it does create a proxy around the state machine. And foo is still a derived constructor. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try to see if we can figure out where it's, here we have create object proxy. So let's see if it actually goes ahead and grabs that specific prop. The prop. Yes, it does grab foo. And then we can check. It's supposed to here. So if it's a function, oh, here it is. So if it's a function and it is a class, then we just return the thing. This is supposed to be like methods, but we aren't actually checking here if it's we should also make sure that it isn't a derived and not target prop. Oh, fudge. We don't know if it's a derived in the proxifier. That is actually an implementation in Overmind. Crap. This is the problem. We're actually fixing a nice bug here because you should be able to use derived on class instances. The problem is why are we actually doing this? Why can't we just do this thing? Target value call target. Maybe this is just because of some old stuff. So maybe I think this is related to, oh wait, is this because of, yeah, of course. So without TypeScript, you don't need to use the derived. Every function we find is, yeah, so in a class instance, a method is like, you should just call it, it's an action, basically, kind of like just a function you want to run. But we treat functions in the state tree as a derived thing. This is what you get when you add API. How are we going to do this? So we should just check if it's a function. If we have the on function thing, we want to call that. But it's not really a function, it's a method. Yeah, this is not fitting well together. Oh, god damn it. On function. Well, we always have on function here. So this is basically just calling it with the tree and the path. So we don't really care about this because we always hit this one. So we could drop this piece of code here. So we don't care about it being a class. We could rather check that. So when we call on function, we are not passing in the target, so we don't really know. We don't really know. So if it's a derived, or we just return the function, which is basically exactly what we want, isn't it? Well, no. It's not exactly what we want. Or is it? Because how does this work? Oh, because it's always a derived. We actually change it into a derived, of course. So the point is that, like, from the perspective of proxy state tree, we call all functions with the tree and the path. Yes. So that's kind of like the basic functionality. And what overmind does, it registers an on function, so it kind of hijacks the on function thing, which means that we want to, so we're just returning the function, but I guess what we want, this is kind of what we want. We want to set the context of that function to the proxy. Do we pass the proxy in there? No, of course we don't do that. Proxifier.tree. Only the target value. Okay. So the problem, the reason this code is there is because when you're in a class, you want to be able to point to this, and this should point to the proxy of the class instance so that you can mutate and stuff. So that's being tracked. Basically, if we were to remove this and run this instead, it would indeed just return the function if it was a method. But the problem is that you lose the context. It doesn't do this thing. But shouldn't it always be? Shouldn't it always be this? So like when we get the function back here and we replace it, we're always reassigning. That's kind of weird. Always reassigning the function. We don't need to do that. Yeah, this can be improved. If the target value is a function, we should probably have a symbol as a flag that it's actually been handled, so it doesn't go to unfunction again. But anyways, how should we do this? So what we could do is we could say that, yeah, like we could move this in here. So let's move this. Don't care about it being a class, but what we do is whenever we get a function from there, we let's see what we're doing here. Are we changing the No, because we can just set the this value. What does derive do? Derive actually returns a bound thing. So even though we try to call it, that should just work. Okay, let's just try this and we'll stop there and then I'll properly fix it later. Because there's more stuff we can do here. So it's func here instead. Something like that. Something like that. Oh, it didn't work. We're still getting that thing. But now we're getting this thing. Oh, because now it doesn't state that it's a derived anymore. Because this holds the symbol for being a derived. Yeah, so the next time it does something different. Okay, so we can't really do that. We can't change out the function. Yeah, this doesn't work. Okay, I have to think about this some more to make properly implement this. It was quite mind-bending to add class instances to the state tree. It's like super powerful, but related to derived, it's not working right now. And I need to figure out how to do this. So what I'll probably do here is that I will also pass in the proxy to this on function so that you're able to bind the proxy to the context of the function that you're evaluating, because that's basically what we did above here. And that means that we don't do anything here. Well, maybe we can try it. Okay, quickly try it. So let's just pass in the proxy there. Let's say that it's going to break, but we'll also get the proxy here now. So what we could do here instead is that we can now bind this to the proxy. I think. Yeah, so now we're getting the correct value out. And if we were to try to change the state within the method, that would also work. But what I really want to do here is, so if it's a derived, this is what we want to do. If it's a derived constructor, this is what we want to do. And but we also want something else, like if func, if is derived, we want to do this. If it's a derived constructor, we want to do this. If func like evaluated, we don't want to bind it again, because that will create a new function every time we call it, which is silly. It shouldn't do that. Anyways, that's it for now. I will fix this for next time. So this will also be part of the next Overmind release. It's actually ready. It's running in, like, the next branch of Overmind is running in production on Codesandbox as we speak. So I'm going to release that as soon as I fix this thing, and then tomorrow we'll finish working on our list. Okay, so we did something completely different today, but that's perfectly okay, I think. Let me know if you have any comments, and let's meet up tomorrow and continue working on our app. Okay, bye bye.